Welcome to Negligent Discharge. This is your host, that Gringo Rican. Today we have ourselves a very special treat. This is an Arsenal Inc. SLR 104UR, 545 by 39. It is a Bulgarian Krink. Same design as the Aks-74u designed by Russia. This one is dripped out in full ZenitCo. Today we're going to go over from the front all the way to the rear everything that's good and bad about this setup. Sit back and relax as we go over one of the sexiest crank-off builds. I want to briefly go over the suppressor and all the ZenitCo products that are on here. Starting off with the Dead Air Wolverine PBS1. It has a 24mm thread adapter. It is a 7.62 by 39 can. If we work our way after the suppressor, we have a combination front sight gas block. If you look closely, you'll see that there is a sling mount attachment point here, top of the handguards. You'll see a Pers 4 Gen 4 IR visible and invisible laser. If you're interested in the multicam black design pattern that's on the Pers 4 Gen 4, I got it from Reese Wraps. They do a pretty good job of making sure that you get your product in one piece. Big differences between the Gen 4 and the Gen 3, I'm going to say, is the tape switch connector. You'll see that it's a more of a triangular design. Polymer with the thread in attachment versus the old style design. So push back, push in tab design, the newer one. This screws in, this push back. This is easier to accidentally push back and it'll fall off. This one screws in, it's a lot more secure. As we work our way to the handguards, you'll see the screws that are holding it in place. We'll start with the upper handguard, which is a B19. In order to attach the upper rail handguard, you will need one of the ZenitCo B11 lower handguard. The lower handguard uses screws, which are also flathead. You can see one here. There's one behind this tape switch. And there's opposite side, there's the same exact thing, it's mirrored image. I'd like to talk about the FP2 wire holders. These specific ones here are for Picatinny mounted rails. Not only do I use them for cable and wire management, I'll also use them to protect my hand from the sharper edges of the Picatinny rail. 99% of the time when I do run this gun, I will have leather gloves on. That's after running 4 mags consistently firing. One thing to take notice of is the RK6 hand stopper short grip. I'm a right-handed shooter, so my non-dominant hand perfectly rests here. Another benefit of the RK6 grip when doing reloads is the slant cut at the bottom of it. Having that slant cut makes reloads a lot easier and faster because you don't have to worry about the hand stop getting in your way. One thing that I do have left on the handguards is an A1 sling swivel mount. I do run a Ferro Concept sling. This is a Slingster in multicam black. I have myself in the front a Blue Force Gear U-loop, which I do attach here on the A1 sling swivel mount. And this piece I attach to the back over here on the stock. This is the PT1 stock. I'll have it attached right here. Now let's get into the handguards. For what it is, we have ourselves a very short configuration. You have to make the most of it. This may not be for everybody. It works for me though. One of the most disappointing things that I've realized is sometimes you don't get what you pay for. Most people that don't know better will swear up and down that the ZenitCo products are the top tier, nothing higher. At today's market value, some of these products cost more than their weight in gold. How can you justify the cost of admission? You can't. I wouldn't suggest purchasing the front handguards. It started to shift very drastically to the point where this thing rattled back and forth. Alright, so now that we got past that problem, let's go ahead and move a little bit further back on this build. For now, let's take some time to appreciate this red dot on top of the hinge dust cover. This is a ZenitCo Zorg 1. You have your buttons up top. This one here is to increase the red dot brightness. This one is to lower the red dot brightness. The button on the left, that one there is to change your red dot modes. You can select from a circle dot to a dot to a crosshair circle dot. It also has IR settings built into the red dot. It has your windage and elevation turrets. It comes with many different height attachments. It comes in a nice aluminum case. Directions in English on how to use the red dot. Bunch of different attachments. If you're looking for more information on this and technical data, please check out the ZenitCo website. Very few of these made it into America. This is actually serial number 100. It has a QD mount attachment. This is another Reese wraps. This was actually just extra corridor. This is for one of the purse fours, as you can see, but I wound up using it. One of them did break. And I tried to super glue it back, but it won't go back on. It's just a very flimsy plastic, windage, elevation, turrets. Anti-glare cap, looks like butt cheeks. Really rough. I've owned this red dot for probably over a year. I've had it on since the time of purchasing it, and the battery's still alive. Only the test of time will tell, but as far as my use of it, I can't complain. If you're into AKs and you're not familiar with the PT1 stock, then you're missing out. This is probably one of the most expensive and highly sought after stocks on the market today. Some people will beg to differ. There are other options out there. We have ourselves a rubberized, low-profile, curved pad. If you want something with more meat on the bone, you have yourselves a fat, thicker, flat face shoulder pad from ZenitCo. This is included in the kit. As you can see right here, we have 5 adjustments for the height of the shoulder pad. All you have to do is loosen this screw and you can adjust it towards your shoulder height. As far as modernizing a AK platform rifle is running high-rise red dot sights. And this build specifically required a higher cheek rest. I'm the type of shooter that likes to bring the stock into my shoulder and then not have to bend my head sideways downward in order to find the red dot. One thing that I can appreciate from other manufacturers is the quick adjustability of the height of the cheek riser. You require tools in order to raise or lower the cheek riser. You have a magnetic lever here. It's held down right here on this magnetic base. All you do is open this lever and pull outward. We have ourselves a sling mount over here, and we have another one attached here. If you want to deploy the stock, all you do is press down on this button over here and then open the stock. So if you do have a side scope mount rail, it will sit flush. As we work our way to the other side of the firearm, you'll notice my fire control group. I utilize an ALG trigger. This is the AKT-EL lightning bolt trigger. It's a single stage trigger. Also have myself a Krebs custom safety selector and a ZenitCo RK3 Gen 2 enhanced pistol grip. This is an aluminum inner frame with a rubberized outer body. And another thing about that is it has a trap door built in the bottom, but you will need an Allen key to remove the 2 screws to gain access into this compartment. There's not too many on the market that I like, but this one right here is probably my second favorite. This one is the Gratis from Fab Defense. Go ahead and check them out. Really nice grip. Weird looking, but very functional, especially for fatigue in the wrist. The grip angle on a short barrel rifle for CQB. This one is this might be my favorite. Honestly, this one might be my favorite. It might be up there with this one right here. The safety selector does have an amazing benefit compared to the original one, which this original safety selector didn't have the shelf. This is easier to manipulate. It also has a bolt hold open feature. You'll notice there's a cutout right here. The disadvantage to having that feature is you will allow dirt and debris to get inside your fire control group. Last but not least is the ZenitCo charging handle. This one I have installed is an RP5. This is not the correct one for the Aks-74u platform. I do have the RP4 version that was designed for the Aks-74u, but it keeps flying off no matter how tight I tighten these screws down. It doesn't hold, so I stopped using this one on this one. You'll notice the screw is broken off. I can't get it out. It was over tightened, but since then this thing is not flown off like the other version, so it's going to stay on here till it flies off. It's a hit or miss product. Honestly, I wouldn't go ahead and point out the money. Some people are charging $100 for these things. They're not worth it at all. In my opinion, these are trash. And for the last part of this build, I have myself a Surefire mini scout light. Up front on the light head, I have a 100 Concepts light cap. This right here is to prevent accidental activation, lens reflection, and carbon buildup on your light. When the suppressor is not being used, there is a lot of carbon that comes off this muzzle device at the front end of the booster, and I do have a lot of carbon buildup on the lens, so this will go ahead and protect that lens from that carbon buildup. I've been purchasing a lot of these for all my Surefire lights or mod lights. I even have them on my scopes, trying them out, and so far so good. Really impressed with the quality and how easy it is to take this on and off. So from the ZenitCo rails not holding zero is a big problem. We also have the charging handles constantly flying off. I can remove this and put something else on, or just leave it the way it is without the charging handle. The screws are horrible as far as you gotta have the right screwdriver. And one thing I've noticed, they don't make screwdrivers that are really short, narrow, that are really wide. So even if you try to use the end of a bullet, the backing of a bullet, it either doesn't fit or it doesn't catch on. They should have just made these hex design bolts or Allen keys. That would have made it a lot easier to take this stuff on and off if need be, to clean the gun up or to take parts off and replace them with other things. It seems more like a pain in the butt to do that, because every time you put a screwdriver in one of these screws, it seems to mar it. A screw that has a wide opening, usually the head of the screw is also going to be wide, so it'll just scratch up the outer edges of it and it won't bite down into this flat recessed surface. There are other companies out there like Sure Shot Armament. They went ahead and used Allen key heads right here to hold the handguards in place, which is a smart idea. You even have the Ukrainian furniture. This is a military equipment out of Ukraine. One thing that I didn't have problems with is tightening this stuff down. So there are options out there. You just have to find them. And as far as the Russian stuff goes, I highly recommend trying to find something else because of the accessibility of the parts, replacement parts, are pain in the butt to find, and then you're going to pay a premium price too. So with the sanctions going on in Russia, I can't recommend people jump into this stuff right now, especially when you're having all these issues. So as far as the parts availability, it's going to be very difficult to send this out to get this repaired, or the red dot. Finding replacement screws, it's not going to be difficult. It's just that you're going to have to source these out in America. That's the bad part of owning this stuff from other countries, especially when there's sanctions going on. When something breaks, you're going to have to be creative and fix it yourself. These are small, minor issues. They will be addressed, and that's what it's about. It's about pushing your rifle and yourself to the limit, finding out what's wrong with it, and fixing it. Let me know in the comment section what you prefer, new school or the old school. If you stuck around this long, I truly appreciate your support. If you want to help the channel grow, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe. Until then, I'm going to keep showing you cool, amazing products that are on the AK market, and I'm also going to show you content with the old school traditional flavor. You guys have yourself a great day. Take it easy.